Welcome to What's Up, Bolts. I'm Fernando Ramirez, that sunglass Don and hat wearing son of a gun.
Woo, 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 woo.
Daygo, and we are here to preview. Dan, it's Raiders week. I mean, I know it's not really what it used to be. Like this week, I remember
Marty
Sean
Schottenheimer.
Merriman, Marty Schottenheimer, LT.
Shout
like
out.
this week, I mean, I'll get into it in a little bit, but when it was this week, I remember they were juiced.
They were fired up.
Chargers at Raiders at Chargers Sunday at 1:05 p.m. I know you guys are wondering, who did you guys get to come on the show? We got the Athletics Vic Tafur to come on.
Legend. Absolute legend.
Vic is something else. He's awesome.
Shout out, dude.
He gives us all the lowdown on is McDaniel's job safe? What's happening with Jimmy G? Josh Jacobs hasn't ran the football extremely almost good at all or well at all this weekend. I mean, they're going to be looking at him to try and get him started, especially after the Chargers gave up 95 yards to Madison last week. But obviously, a big week for the Chargers. This is the week before they go into their bye week. So they need this victory, especially if they're going to keep on. I mean, you want to go into the bye week positive and
think about it. Think about the difference right now, just pregame.
Yeah.
The difference between going into the bye week 2-2 or 1-3. Like, I think that's a lot difference.
1-3
psyche, to the spirit. Exactly. Because how many guys won't maybe tap out thinking, oh, well, 1-3, like, can we pull this around? That's when the doubt starts to creep in, and you have to make sure you stay ahead of those things. Like, that's
not just that. Kansas City is 2-1. They're going to New York. By the way, Dan, a little breaking news. Taylor Swift will be in attendance.
Oh my God! You're kidding me. You're kidding me.
Jets versus
you got me to bite, and you waste my time on this garbage again.
I thought you'd want to know.
No, I don't want to know. I don't care. I wish, seriously, she had the same luck Drake does when she supports teams. That's what I want. I want to see freaking whatever team she goes and puts on a jersey of in the crapper, taking L's left and right, dude.
Especially week 7, huh?
Especially week 7.
So obviously the big news, Mike Williams is out with a torn ACL. Gilbert and I kind of got into that. If you guys want to check out that video.
Okay, then I won't say anything.
We got into that. About what?
Mike Williams. That just it's just unbelievable. Well, I've already said it on the pod before. It's not a secret. Know your personnel, KYP. He's not a screen guy. Don't throw screens to Mike.
You know what's interesting about this is that we've been asking today, and I talked to Keenan about it, and Keenan's like, look, he's in good spirits, but at the same time, like, he is bummed out, and this is what I wrote today, Dan. I'm like, Mike since 2018 has been the yang to Keenan's yin and yang. He really, I mean, Mike came in, and I remember, you know what's funny? Mike was getting the same criticism that Quentin Johnston was getting right now. The only thing is Mike was dealing with a back injury. And so obviously he was dealing with that back injury throughout the whole season. But then I remember his going into a second season, everybody's like, oh no, he's a bust. He's this, he's that. He goes on to catch 10 touchdown passes. He had like 850 yards. And since then, he's been the Robin to Keenan's Batman.
He's been the fourth quarter player, dude.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a little it's very disappointing to see that Mike goes down. Obviously, as a media member, I'm obviously objective and everything, but just to know Mike Williams is one of the best guys you'll ever meet. He's such a great guy. I get to talk to him you know what sucks? Last week I was talking, like, the last 3 weeks, literally, Mike and I have had a conversation every single day. And today I went in there and I was like, oh, dude, I'm like, damn, Mike's not here. So
you're like, where are you at? Where are you at?
Exactly. So Mike and I always, we're always chatting about stuff. And I told him, I'm like, did you hear DeAndre's going back to school? He's like, for real? And I was like, yeah, DeAndre signed up to go back to school. And then he just starts laughing. And he's like, man, that's crazy. He's like, I don't know if I could do that right now. And then last week I told him, did you see that video of DeAndre? So DeAndre is in class. virtual. Yeah, he's in
Yeah, I
virtual
heard
class.
about. I saw
Took
the
a
meme.
video.
Yeah,
Yeah, some guy took a video, and DeAndre's
Yeah.
walking through the Titans locker room,
yeah.
and he just started laughing. He's like, DeAndre's wild, and I was like, bro, like, can you imagine walking through the locker room and you're over here in class, supposed to be in class? I'm like, that is hilarious. But yeah, Mike, prayers out to Mike. Mike's like such a great guy.
Yeah.
I hope he's able to rebound from this.
And it's going to be tough not having him, dude, because honestly, you look at it right now, third down, he's looking at Keenan. Fourth quarter, usually he looks for Mike, but now Mike's not there. So you're going to need to have a come to Jesus moment in that wide receiver room, because somebody's going to have to step up, because real quick, teams are now going to start keying in on Keenan. So that is not going to be easy, dude.
Yeah, and that's what I wrote about. I wrote about how Keenan, or
I wrote
about
check it out.
I appreciate it. I wrote about how Quentin Johnston, he said, I spoke to him in the locker room, and he said, I'm ready to go. And he's like, I'm ready to show what I've got. He's like, I've been learning. And he said, he's like, look, I wasn't frustrated the first few weeks, but I was kind of questioning some things. And I talked to Josh Palmer, and Josh like, hey, I've gone through it too. Last year, Josh had to go through it at the beginning. Then Keenan goes down. He sees an increased role. He had a career high in catches, yards, and everything. So he just said you have to be patient with it. Keenan told us, he's like, look, he's like, when your opportunity comes knocking, you have to take advantage of it. So here's the opportunity. And this is Keenan said, I have the quote right here. Keenan said, he said, hold on, I have it. Oh, we just need him to be him. Be the guy that we drafted. We don't need more. We don't need less. So
that sounds very Patriot way, Bimbo. Just do your job. Do your job.
Know your role and shut your
damn mouth. Although I hate The Rock. Please don't come back to WWE.
No, he is. So obviously, that's a little bit, and everybody's pulling for him, but the guys are hopeful that Quentin can take that next step, especially because the offense needs help. They're going to need all the help that they can get, especially with Mike now out. Like you said, Dan, he's a big part of what this offense does, and to not have him anymore, that's going to be tough. But here's what Justin Herbert had to say about Quentin Johnston and what he thinks about the receiver.
He's one of those guys that's going to have to step up big time, and we're expecting big things from him. And he's a smart player. He's really athletic, and you got to just get the ball in his hands, and something special is going to happen. So, he's done a great job battling so far.
There you have it, Dan. I mean, your quarterback just said it, that they're gonna be counting on him. They need him to step up, and obviously. Yeah, no, and that's really what it is. Next man up mentality. He's gonna have to be ready. It's not just on him though. Josh Palmer. Yeah. I talked to Simi Fehilco too, and I asked him like, what is your role? He's like, look, I'm coming in here and I'm literally like, I'm learning on the fly, but they expect him to have a role this weekend, possibly have a role this weekend. So we'll see what happens with him. But Dan, they're really. I know that everybody wants to throw all their eggs in the Quentin Johnston basket, but it's gonna have to be a collective unit that's going to have to strike fear. And Fehilco, he's 6'4". By the way, so I was talking to him, and I'm like, yeah, your cousin was pretty famous here, Braden Fehilco. And he's like, yeah, I heard he was really loud. And they're like, you better bring that same kind of energy. He's like, whoa, Braden is like one of one. Like, there's anytime you'd walk into the locker room, like Braden was always laughing or talking crap or this or that. The one thing he'd always get me with is he'd always be like, man, In-N-Out is trash. I'd be like, let me guess, you're a Whataburger. He's like, of course. I'd be like, Braden, get that crap out of here. I was like, that stuff is garbage. And then so we would go back and forth on it. But Braden is a good guy. I remember asking him about what it was like to be down there with Coach Ogeron. And
Go Tigers.
Yeah, exactly. Go Tigers. So he was Braden was a good guy. So Simi seems a little bit more quiet, more let me do my job and everything. So, but I think he's going to be a good addition to the team. He's been with Kellen Moore in the past. So he just said, I just need an opportunity. Well, here it is, dude. Like, here's your opportunity. It was funny because the way he announced it was he was on social media, on Instagram Live, and he announced that he had signed with the Chargers. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Does that bug you or no? As a journalist?
No.
Oh.
I mean, these guys, I mean,
I think
Literally,
I get it's their life and all that. I just think it's so stupid. Like,
no, I think these guys have kind of figured out that, well, I think players have started figuring out like, hey, like there's other ways to get to connect with the fans, and that's one way to connect. I mean, through social media, and then some of these guys like to look through the comments and then they answer questions. Yeah, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. So obviously, but no, I mean, hey, that's
one thing.
his
One thing
prerogative.
I was gonna say, since you brought him up, this is gonna be a huge challenge for Kellen Moore because, like I mentioned earlier, they already know the Chargers don't have a great run game yet. They haven't really found that identity, I guess, since week 1 against Miami. And so they start zoning in on Keenan. Like, he's going to have to get creative or try and figure out what pairings are going to work out there on the field, how they can get some guys open, because they take away Keenan. Like, it might be a long day for Justin Herbert on 3rd down, dude, because that's usually his safety blanket. So hopefully Everett and some of these guys step up, but he's going to have I think he's going to have his hands full pretty soon losing Mike.
I mean, yes and no. I mean, as long as guys start. The thing is, it's not just the receivers that have to step up, the tight ends,
the
running backs. Everybody's gonna have to step up as a cohesive unit. And speaking of that, though, well, what are your thoughts on Quentin Johnston before we and all that, like all these guys having to step up and everything?
Well, of course they have to step up. Of course they're not going to trash him in the media or any of that stuff. They're going to say good things about him. I would love to, well, I mean, obviously me being nosy Rosie right here, I would love to have a head coach who's like Deion Sanders, who will tell you straight up why a kid's not starting. I saw a video on Twitter today. They asked why a 5-star player he recruited isn't starting or getting any playing time. He's like, lack of preparation, doesn't show up to meetings, he's late. He's like, I'd be a fool to start his ass or get him any reps. And straight up like that, no more speculation. It ends it. You know what I mean? And obviously, being on this side now a little more, I would rather just have that clarity, because then it's like, oh, okay, we can move on. Like, it's not like we're having to fish or trying to guess or put on our little tin hats, try and come up with theories or whatever. And yeah, so that's the only thing I don't understand why. Like I understand, Josh Palmer's been through a similar thing, fine. But the guy was not a first-round pick. Like, this guy's a first-round draft pick, and for the most part, these first-rounders are expected to play. And the way they were kind of hyping him up in training camp, preseason, and stuff like that, you just haven't seen it translate yet so far in the season.
Well, because he hasn't been given a chance at it.
But that's what I'm saying, though. That's what I'm saying, though. Like, what is being seen on the practice field that we're not seeing as the reason to why he's not starting or getting any play?
Well, I mean, we all know why he wasn't starting. I mean, you had Mike and Keenan. Now is the real, because I mean,
but even getting reps, he wasn't even getting reps.
No, but it's hard to get. I mean, I guess because these guys are so comfortable with the certain packages that they run, I think it was kind of hard to integrate them, because, like, if you think about it, like, yeah, Kellen Moore's calling the offense, but the cohesion is there with Mike, with Josh. Basically, everybody's a returning player except for Quentin Johnston. Yeah, so I think it's costing Justin and Quentin a little bit of. I mean, I think they're still easing into, but like
to know each other.
Yeah, but the one thing I think, though, is both players are going to learn trial by fire, and I think this week is going to be very big for them, especially because of obviously everything that.
Well, yeah, the Raiders are limping. The Raiders are limping.
Exactly. And I mean, you know what? That's a perfect segue, Dan. You know what? When we come back, though, from the interview with Vic, I'm going to give you guys an update on Austin Eckler and what's happening there. And then obviously we'll get into everything else. So let's go now to our interview with Vic. It's always a great laugh when we get him. So let's go to him now. Folks, it is Chargers Raiders week. So who better to bring on than the Athletics Vic Tafur? Vic is a friend, a colleague, and everything. Love having him on. Love talking to him. So Vic, how are you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Fired up for the big game.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely very interesting. Just right away, what are you kind of hearing about Jimmy G and he's in concussion protocol and everything? But what are some of your thoughts heading into Sunday's game about his availability?
Well, I saw him walk into the locker room, grab a hat, and then walk back out towards the showers. So based on that, I think he's ready to play. I think he's good to go. I think it seems like everyone here is optimistic that's going to work out. I think Josh McDaniels mentioned he's making progress through the concussion protocol, so I think he's on the right track. He's got 4 more days. So, and they also like they kind of. I mean, I'm sure it's not part of the equation, but they also realize that if he can't play and they have to use Brian Hoyer, they're going to lose. So I think they know that. So I mean, Hoyer I think is 0-12 in his last 12 starts, and that was when he was young. Now he's 37. So
Yeah.
0-12 and you're older. So I think that's not a good recipe. So I think he knows he wants to play. I think he'll be. My guess is he'll play on Sunday.
I see fans keep on calling for Aiden to come in. That he's nowhere near ready, correct? I mean, that's
Yeah, I can't imagine he plays. I mean, he had success in the preseason. I think he led the league in passer rating in the preseason, which you know what that means. It means a hill of beans doesn't mean anything. So, and obviously he's got potential. He's a young, smart guy, accurate passer, but very raw. Didn't have great success in college. I think playing on the road against the Chargers would not be a good idea. So I think I really have no doubt that if for some reason Jimmy can't play, it would be Brian Hoyer.
When you look at Sunday and just the I mean, I guess everybody's talking about the blown call by Josh McDaniels of kicking the field goal instead of going for it. What are your thoughts on that? And what did he say after the game? And has he kind of acknowledged that he kind of messed up, or is he?
I'm not sure Josh is the kind of guy who would do that, but he acknowledged he can understand why people are critical of it. So I think that's a big step for him. I think he probably would do it all over again. And I think he's the first guy to ever do it. I think you kick a field goal down 8 with 2 minutes and change to go. I think he's the first guy to ever do that since the 2-point thing came into existence in the league. So it's doesn't make a lot of sense. I think his logic was you need 2 scores to win the game still. But you need 1 score to tie the game and keep it going. So I think it's kind of plus your defense is not very good. So you're banking on your defense to get a stop and give you the ball back, which they got it back in the end with I think 20 seconds to go, and Jimmy threw another pick. But I thought it was clearly the wrong move. I think most people did, and that's life in Raiderland. So you kind of you move on to next week.
Speaking of stuff going on in Raiderland, Davante Adams, it seems like he's growing a little bit frustrated with what's going on. What are some of your what do you think is going on with him so far? I mean, he's putting up the numbers, but they've only won 1 game out of 3, and I'm sure out of 2, but he must be growing a little bit more frustrated, don't you think?
Yeah, I think it's something definitely that bears watching. I think he had some comments, I think, in the offseason, which people kind of jumped on, where he wasn't seeing eye to eye with the new regime, and he kind of downplayed it and said, no, that was not what I meant. But clearly, he came here to win games. He left the Packers because he thought Aaron Rodgers would not be there very long, saw that window closing, came here with Derek Carr, his college buddy, and had him some Max Crosby, some weapons, and thought, McDaniels and the former Patriots regime might be the right way to go. And clearly, has not been the case after a year and 3 games. They don't seem to be on track for a playoff run this year. That's my early take, but you never know. So I think he's starting to sense that maybe if he wants to win a ring, this may not be the place for him in the near future. So I think that would become a bigger issue if they keep losing. I'm sure the game coming up after this one, they play the Packers. Now that'll be a huge national media thing going against his old team. We left to win. Now they're 1-3. Yada yada yada. So I think it'll be much more of a big deal next week if they lose this week.
So, and do you feel like, I mean, like you mentioned, if they do keep on losing, do you feel like he could request a trade? I mean, do you get that growing sense from him?
Yeah, I don't know if he'd be that direct. I think he probably would have more and more hints that he's not happy and kind of questions what the future is. And it's a fair question because and Jimmy G is here for 2 years. They probably won't be bad enough to have a high draft pick where they can get like a top guy, like a Caleb Williams or the guy from Carolina in the draft. So then you're in that kind of weird, middle range of teams that aren't going to get impact guys in the draft, and you can't make the playoffs. So you're kind of in a no man's land, which is not where he wants to be. And so I think he's got 2 more years left on his deal before his deal gets really ridiculous in terms of the money. So that's kind of his window. So I think he's going to look at it and what, if we can't make the playoffs this year or really not making strides to being that kind of team next year, then what am I doing here?
What do you make of the defense so far? I mean, no turnover. They haven't caused any turnovers. Kenny Pickett kind of, in a sense, I mean, he only had, I think, 4 incompletions. Just what are your thoughts on the defense?
It's not very good. I think Now, Chandler Jones was not a great player last year. He kind of started off slow, but he got better as the year went on. And obviously, he has reputation. People know who he is. He has some. He's a guy you have to plan against. And so his absence, he had, so I don't know what you would call it, like some personal problems that are still playing out on social media. And the team, he's away from the team now for 4 weeks. So I worked some things out, and I'd be surprised if he came back. He took some shots at the coach, GM, and the owner on social media. So he's kind of taking the Antonio Brown. Playbook, which is not a good playbook to have. And so I don't think he's back. And that's been a big loss for him because the plan was he would help groom Tyree Wilson, the young pass rusher, the first round pick, who they must have known was a little raw, not ready. He's coming off a foot injury himself, and it's going to take a while for him to get kind of where they want him to be. And now with Chandler Jones gone, a lot more pressure on him, and also on Malcolm Kuntz, a guy, another former pick who hasn't done much the last couple of years. So those two guys have not been up to the challenge so far. Tyree's had a rough time. A lot of Raider fans are kind of freaking out because you watch him and it doesn't have a quick takeoff off the snap. The ball snapped. It kind of seems like 1,000, 1,000, 3, and he takes off, which is not really what you want of a young bull pass rusher. So, and obviously it's a process for young guys in this league that get used to it. But I think there's some concern about his ability to make a difference this season.
And then Max Crosby, I mean, he's still a difference maker. He's still making a lot of plays. Just I mean, in a sense, does he kind of grow a little bit frustrated with, hey, like I'm over here trying to wreak havoc and other teams or other players aren't really stepping up, or what's your growing sense on that?
Yeah, I'm sure he's frustrated, but he's also like a very proud team leader, and teams are going to focus on him like a double teams, guys, running backs chipping at him, tight ends coupling out, so they move him around and try and help him out. But obviously, he's clearly the focus of opposing offenses. So I think he can't really say like, hey, we got screwed because Chandler Jones, kind of blew a gasket. He can't really say that, and because they were pretty close at some point. So it's hard for him, I'm sure, because he wants to win now, like Davante does. I'm sure he realized that it's going to be probably harder than he thought before he lost Chandler.
Mm-hmm. Just when you look at everything, and how would you evaluate the job that McDaniels has done so far in the first 3 games?
Well, I've been pretty critical of McDaniels and Ziegler, and these first 3 games that kind of I think are more par for the course. I think we mentioned the field goal decision last week, bad decision. I think, but also we'll say like a lot of it may fall on Dave Ziegler. I think the moves they made in the offseason, both this year and last year, have not been a lot of home runs, not been a lot of great signings or draft picks. Like, oh, that guy's a great pick. That guy's an impact player, especially in free agency. This year they brought in Robert Spillane, who's kind of just a guy, linebacker, and they brought in Marcus Epps, he's not bad at safety. And the big signing last year brought in Bilal Nichols, a D tackle who hasn't done much. So not a lot of impact guys from free agency. So that's been a problem. So I can't blame Josh too much.
Another Josh Jacobs. I mean, it kind of feels like it's going to take him a little bit to kind of get going with no training camp and everything. Is that kind of the growing sense around there that it's going to take him a little bit to kind of get going?
Yeah, I also think it's not only that, but also like this O-line is just not blocking well. I think, and part of that is I think teams are like, you know what, we're not sure Jimmy can throw the ball deep. We're not sure what else you have offensively, so we're going to just stack the line of scrimmage against Josh Jacobs, and he's not going to beat us. If you cause us to change that at some point, we have to adapt. We'll do that. But so far through 3 games, that plan's worked. He stacked the line of scrimmage. He stopped Josh Jacobs, and you usually win the game.
Jimmy G right now is leading the league in interceptions. Just do you feel like he kind of zeroes? I mean, and it's hard not to when you have a guy like Davante Adams to just zero in and try and get him the ball. But do you feel like he's kind of forcing it, and that's what's causing the interceptions, or just what do you think?
Yeah, I think he's trying to do too much. I'm not sure. It's obviously people talked about his familiarity with the system. He and Josh were together in New England. That was supposed to be a big plus, but hasn't really seemed like that way so far. Like you mentioned, he's got Davante, he's got Jacoby Myers, who he knows well. Those are definitely his first 2 options. After that, he's not really looking for many guys. Renfro's not been a factor. The tight ends have not been a factor. He will throw Josh Jacobs, on the check down pass. Josh is probably the 3rd leading receiver right now. So, but you need more than that. You need to get the ball. And Davante definitely is so good that teams can focus on him, and he still gets 12 catches. That's how good he is. He's an incredible I think the best receiver in football. So
Yeah.
it'd be hard if you are Jimmy not to throw him the ball because he's that good. So, but I just think when the pocket collapses or when he has too much time and he can't find a guy open, he tries to force the ball in at times. You saw like this past weekend, and that's when bad things happen.
The seat that Josh McDaniels is sitting in right now, what temperature do you think it's at? Do you think he's fine just because, I mean, it's a New England guy as a GM and everything, or do you feel like there is a little bit of growing frustration, especially with what's going on? And then if Davante Adams says, "Hey, I want out, I'm done," like, do you feel like that could maybe make it a little bit hotter for him? Or
I think it's at a very comfortable, like hot tub temperature. I think he's kind of relaxed a little bit because I think Mark Davis has said he's trying to have patience. He realizes that every time they go through a new regime, he loses patience and they fire someone or the coach, and it just kind of is an ongoing cycle. Like they've been back for 20 years now. So I think he's trying to take a long-term approach. He said, look, give you guys time, do your own Patriots, magic and draft guys and build it the right way. And I think that's the plan. And I think he went into the season thinking he'd give Josh and Dave another couple of years, but you never know. I mean, Mark definitely he is an emotional guy. Things could change if the fans turn on the team at some point, which is not totally unlikely. I mean, if they lose a lot of games, the fans will get frustrated, I think. And so I think I don't think there's any fear right now. I think Josh is fine. I don't think he's worried about his job security, but obviously, if the losses start to pile up, that could change.
What needs to change moving forward for these guys to kind of get maybe clicking and try and do something?
Draft good players. That's my recipe for success. They've had no matter what the regime has been the last decade or 15 years, they do not do well in the draft, and that's been a problem. Even this year, you look at this is supposed to be the year of some impact guys. I think Michael Mary has 2 catches. You mentioned Terry Wilson, not been playing very well. Jacorian Bennett, I think he has some good upside at cornerback, but this year he's giving up like 11 yards per target, which is one of the worst numbers in the league. I think so. Just kind of there's not been impact guys from the draft in a long time, and so I think that's a problem. And then you start to plug holes through free agency, and those guys don't really have any long-term impact either. So it's kind of there aren't a lot of difference makers besides you. Obviously, you got Davante, you got Max, you got Josh Jacobs, and even now Jacoby Myers definitely looks like he's a good fit. But after that, it falls off pretty fast.
One or two more questions, and I'll let you go, Vic. I appreciate you for jumping on. You were here for training camp in Costa Mesa. You came out to see Derek Carr, obviously, to talk to him and everything. But you sent out a tweet saying, watching Justin Herbert these last few days, I don't know how the Chargers lose. Were you impressed with what he did in Minnesota he got blitzed 84% of the time, and he completed 85% of his passes, had 405 yards, only 7 incompletions. I mean, what do you think of that?
Yeah, he's my pick for MVP after I watched those 2 days of practice. I've seen him before, obviously, in games the last few years, but never like just 2 days in a row of every throw in practice. And I was kind of blown away. Obviously, I knew he has great arm strength. He has the accuracy. It seemed like he anticipates things well. Just the complete package and the stats this year was a 74% completion percentage. Yep. It's unbelievable. So
he hasn't turned the ball over either.
Yeah, so he's getting better. I mean, I just think I like my MVP pick. I think he's got a real shot this year. So obviously, the defense has to play better, and they have to stop. You guys Chargers make a lot of mistakes, which are kind of head scratching. They do sometimes, but clearly, he's definitely shows he is the elite top 3 or 4 quarterback in the league, and every reason why, if you're a Chargers fan, you should have high hopes for the season.
What's kind of your feel on the game going into this weekend?
I just look at I just did my picks every week, and the point spread's like 5.5. That seems high. I mean, I think obviously the Chargers are more talented, and I think they're probably a better team, but these games usually are close. I think the Raiders have some, they got some pride. And if Jimmy plays, I think that's a big, obviously, I think it'll be a close game. But if he doesn't play, it's going to be a blowout. But if he plays, I think he'll hang around. Probably the Chargers win the game, but I think it'll be close. I think I'm curious about your guys' defense. I mean, I can't imagine how bad you've been, and I would think ideally for you guys who come in and just, like I said, stop Josh Jacobs and force other guys to beat you. So, but I don't know. Can you guys stop Josh Jacobs? Can you guys stop the line?
So Madison only had 63 rushing yards. in the first 2 games of the season, and the Chargers allowed him to rush for 95 yards. So
Yeah, so I think maybe
it's
Josh
gonna
breaks
be,
out a little bit.
yeah, I think this might be the game that Josh Jacobs breaks out. But Vic, we honestly appreciate it. Thank you so much. That's the Athletics of Vic Tafur, a guy that does multiple eye rolls during press conferences and other stuff. So obviously we enjoy him being on the show, and he's a great guy to follow. So make sure you guys follow him. Thank you so much, Vic.
All right, but see you Sunday.
So Dan, it seems like Jimmy G might be a go according to
give us the nuts and bolts, Frau.
Yeah.
The nuts and bolts segment.
Yeah, exactly. I think Chandler Jones, Vic said it, without Chandler Jones there, it's kind of had to speed up the process of Tyree Wilson, of other guys, and those guys just aren't ready. Max Crosby is now facing same thing as what Joey Bosa's done in the past when he's had nobody opposite side of him. They double team him, and then they just singled everybody up. And you know what, though? The name Jerry Tillery was not mentioned once by him, so that was pretty interesting. Because I saw an article saying that he was the forefront of that defensive line. And
if he's the forefront of your defensive line, I am going to St. Jude, patron saint of the hopeless, to go pray for you, dude.
I saw an article from a certain Raiders beat reporter that
game.
Yeah. But definitely it was a good conversation with Vic. I'm telling you, like, guys, this is going to be an interesting game, because if the Raiders fall 1-3, there's going to be more pressure on McDaniels. And he said it. He said McDaniels is right now, he's fine. He's calm, cool, and collected. Why? Because they're not going to fire him right now. But after the season, I mean, they still have to pay him and everything. And I don't think we don't know yet how much or what is going on with the John Gruden stuff. Can you imagine if you had to pay 3 head coaches? Like, you fire McDaniels, the Gruden, and then obviously you're paying that 3rd head coach.
Oh, so I was about to ask you. I was about to say, no way they're still paying.
It was a 10-year contract. I don't know.
No. I know him. I was about to say, no way they're still paying Jack Del Rio, dude.
No.
I think they got out of his early too.
No, but 1 year early.
Oh, okay.
No, the way what I was saying is if they had to fire McDaniels after this year.
No, I know. I understood what you're saying.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of Jack Del Rio.
No,
they got out that early.
You know, it's funny. Gilbert was a member of the Las Vegas Review-Journal that day that they had Del Rio. No, Del Rio got fired. Then he still goes up to the press conference and he still does it. And I'm like, that was as weird as when the Chargers fired Mike McCoy.
Yeah.
And he did the press conference the end of the season, he did the press conference after the game. Dante, Eric Williams, and I go down to the field, and I'm doing a video for Eric, and an email slides in from Bill Johnston, and it says the Chargers have fired Mike McCoy. I go, Eric, they just fired Mike McCoy. He's like, what? And then we started going through it, and I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, exactly. So that's crazy. But yeah, going back to it, this is a big week. I mean, I know, obviously, like I said, if you guys follow Sean Merriman on Twitter, that's how big of a week this is. Sean Merriman is talking so much trash. It's so funny to see. But even somebody like Brandon Staley, who maybe didn't know who the Chargers were maybe a couple of years. He knew who they were. But once you get into the building, you know about the traditions and everything. Yeah. This is what Brandon Staley said about what this week is for these guys.
There's going to be a lot of energy in the stadium. All the division games, there's just a different caliber energy, and you know each other a lot better. Certainly with this group, with the same head coach, we've played these guys and they've played us, and so it's going to be a really big time environment on Sunday.
I mean, he knows how it's going to be. I mean, who knows what the stadium's going to look like? I know everybody's saying it's going to be
all those tweets, dude.
It's going to be more Raider fans, but I just don't know if I believe that. Because I think Raider fans are pissed. Raider Raider fans are going to go to SoFi, but they're not going to go to their own stadium in Allegiant. And
I don't know if you saw the tweets. I don't know if it was Vic or who. Somebody was like tweeting about how supposedly regular Raider fans are getting outpriced because the tickets are just so damn expensive. And I'm like, this is what I'm talking about, dude. Like, I don't know who the league is trying to attract with the nosebleeds being in the 500 price range. Like, it's just absolutely ridiculous. You can't go with your family of 4, family of 2, or whatever. Like, it pisses me off, dude. I can't stand that stuff. They're going towards people who are not even like true diehard fans.
Okay, but let me tell you why. Some people would take it as like a business. and they buy the season tickets, and then they see how much they can make off. Right now, I don't know how much people are making off of the Rams, just because not a lot of really good teams are coming to SoFi all that much. But like, look at the Chargers. The Chargers have a hell of a home slate. A lot of really good teams come to SoFi.
Yeah.
So obviously, some people buy the season tickets, and boom, like they sell it to other people. And I'm not saying Charger fans. I'm saying regular Los Angeles people are buying season tickets, and then they sell them to whoever.
Yeah, I saw something about that too, that they're trying to crack down on scalpers.
I know some Charger fans, like I've seen our good friend Karen will tweet out, "Hey, Charger fans, my buddy's selling tickets, but he only wants to sell it to Charger fans. Who wants to buy them and stuff like that?" So but that's how Charger fans do it. I don't know
Shout out
everybody else,
Karen.
But the Rams have had trouble. I mean, the Rams had trouble with the 49ers, but the 49ers are gonna wherever they go, it's
travel,
gonna be especially right now with how good they are, they're gonna be foaming at the mouth for it. But the Chargers have the Raiders, and then they have the Cowboys. You know, it's funny, in 2021, Staley's first year, his first home game was against the Cowboys, and the following home game was against the Raiders. So now here he goes against the Raiders, and then he goes against the Cowboys. So this is a big week. Chargers need to I still have that banner up. I apologize for that. But it's a big week. These guys are going to need to be prepared. A little bit. I'll give you guys an update on Austin Eckler right now. But Dan, there's a little bit of a injury concern, I'm sure.
I saw the freaking list on Twitter. What's going on, dude?
So Joey Bosa hamstring. Joey Bosa hamstring and toe did not practice. I'd be surprised if he didn't go. I think it's just going to be the same thing as it has been.
Yeah. Well, because now they have Tuli. They have T actually being productive, dude.
Dan, let me ask you, how much do you love Tuli?
Oh, he's been a dog, dude. He's been a big time dog.
Like Little Daniel?
No. I didn't fall for the okie doke right there. I wasn't gonna say
what kind of a dog is Little Daniel?
He's a Chihuahua. He's exactly what he has at his house. All bark, no bite. But anyway, he's been actually a very solid piece that they've been able to use. Like the guy's actually getting pressure. He's getting movement. He's not just getting blown back like other people and stuff like that. So they can.
He just turned 21.
And that's the craziest part. So they can take their time with Joey Bosa. Imagine if the guy wasn't productive or was like one of the other ones where it's like it's almost a liability and you can't really manage it. Like Chris Rumpf, I think, has still yet to really, step up in his role. And he's had a lot of reps. In 2 years, he's had a lot of reps because Bosa's been out for whatever reason.
Well, and last year, Kyle Van Noy kind of took
and he overtook him. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He stepped up.
By the way, Kyle Van Noy, friend of the show, he signed with the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
So the Chargers see the Baltimore Ravens in a couple of weeks, so that'll be interesting to see.
Oh, he's got that game probably circled. He's fired up about that one.
Let me go through this list some more. Austin Eckler limited. I'll get into that in a second. Gerald Everett illness did not practice. Alohi Gilman heel did not practice. Derwin James hamstring did not practice. Eric Kendricks hamstring, he was limited. Corey Linsley illness did not practice. Khalil Mack rest. Kenneth Murray groin did not practice. Rashawn Slater ankle limited. Rashawn will be fine. That one
I'd hope so because good God Almighty if he's out.
Rashawn will be fine. Khalil Mack will be fine. Joey Bosa will be fine. Austin Eckler and Eric Kendricks, it kind of looks like they may who knows? Well, you never know. I don't want to speculate. But at least they practice. So we spoke to Austin, and that's another positive aspect of it. Austin did speak to the media today, and he said, "Look, he's like, this is he confirmed it's a high ankle sprain, and he said that there are some movements that he makes where it does hurt, but that it's basically manageable pain. That they're gonna rev him up later in the week to see how if he's gonna be able to go, but that." And I asked him, I'm like, hey, with the bye week coming up, do you feel like you should maybe just take this game off and wait until the bye week? And he's like, look, if I can go out there and help my team, then I'm going to go out there and help my team. He's like, if I can go and I could be good and fine, then I'll go out there and help him. So Friday we'll know more if it's going to be a limited role, if he's going to play, if he's not going to play. It all depends on how he does tomorrow or how he does Thursday and how he does Friday when it comes to him practicing. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Austin, but he seemed in high spirits. He's excited about getting back. He's like, dude, He's like, I felt like such a fan on Sunday, and I was like, why? He's like, I was yelling at my TV over and over. Last against Tennessee and against the
Vikings.
No, against Tennessee. Oh, maybe against the Vikings. I can't remember which one he said, but he said he was yelling at his TV that he was like, come on, guys, let's pull this one out, this and that. So definitely interesting. But yeah, Austin said he should he's gonna try and go, and Eric Kendrick, same thing. So we'll see what happens there. But Dan, the one thing I'm kind of wondering, if Eric Kendricks comes back, wouldn't it be better to just leave the green dot on Kenneth Murray? Maybe, I mean, part of me thinks that like maybe him having the green dot, that's why he's had better performances these last 2 weeks.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that at all.
He's had better
better than that at all.
All right, well then we can agree to disagree, but
Brown,
it's
there's
been better.
no way in hell you're gonna close a running lane by arm tackling professional athletes.
Okay, but there's other plays that he made that were.
If you bring up that interception, I'm gonna lose my mind, dude.
No. There's other plays that he made though that I was very.
Two things can be right. He has flashes and glimpses, but at a consistent level, no, he's not. No, he's not a green dot.
I didn't say at a consistent level. All I said.
But that's what I'm saying. He has flashes. Yeah, you're right. He has flashes, but not good enough to be the green dot guy. The green dot guy is your captain. He's the captain of that defense. Why it's not Derwin, I have no idea. But no, I don't know about that. I don't know if a dot and calling some plays is really making them play better or not. But
what did you, Dan? I hope that you don't get too excited off of this, but I know anything that has to do with your quarterback, you get excited.
Oh, I love.
What did you think about this play?
Oh, dude, he's such a stud, dude. He's just such a dog. That sidearm, a guy in his face. He's so calm, and he just gets around him, dude. He sees it right away. It's coming open.
Wait, watch your quarterback on this play. Watch him the whole way.
Yeah,
you're gonna get angry. Do you see that?
Yeah, that he took the hit. Yeah.
No, not just took a hit. Watch, he sling blades him like Finn Balor.
Oh yeah. This guy.
He grabbed him by the neck.
I'm surprised they wouldn't call that a penalty, the neck area or whatever. Yeah, but I don't know what it is. They have a problem with
Justin what was more impressive, that one to Parham or the one on the other one in the end zone to Parham?
No, that one. Are you kidding me? He's right in his face. He has to sling it around him. And he even jumps to take away the throwing lane. He knew what was coming, dude. He outfoxed him.
If that was another quarterback, what would they have said on the
sacked?
No. Another certain quarterback. If he would have made a throw like that, what do you think would have been said about him?
Oh my God, they would have had it on ESPN all week, dude. But by the
way, real quick, we have to shout out our guys. All right, go. Well, I want to shout out Francisco and Adrian real quick. Listen to this, man. Watch this. This is pretty cool.
Jefferson y Vato Davis. Y Davis le está dando colchón de 10 yardas. Cousins suelta, pase. Interceptado en la zona. Interceptado. Perro Murray. Se robó ese hueso.
That's hilarious.
Partido aquí en Minnesota. Puro church of power.
That's hilarious, dude. That's hilarious.
I was laughing when I heard that. I was like, that's so good.
I think that's awesome that they had the camera in there too.
Yeah,
it wasn't just the audio. Yeah, that's awesome. They had the camera in there too. But getting back to it, speaking of the defense, I think this is the game they need to get after it. You know, they're limping into this game because we don't know if Jimmy G is going to go, and it's either going to be Brian Hoyer or freaking Aiden O'Connell or whatever.
No, it's they said it's Brian Hoyer.
Oh, they already ruled Jimmy G out?
Herbert pumps, throws, caught, touchdown.
Yeah, laser.
No, when I was talking to Vic, Vic said that it is Brian Hoyer that would be the one that would play.
Oh, that would go if Jimmy can't. Yeah.
And he's 37 years old. So, and I just started laughing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they're limping into this game. This is a game where you need to get the defense feeling good about themselves going into the bye. I would disguise and bring pressure almost every single play. I would try and overwhelm Hoyer into mistakes or other things. And the other thing
even
is,
Jimmy G, he's thrown 6 picks in
Yeah,
3 games.
yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, they're not. This is the game to get after it because they're limping through the first 4 games or whatever. They need to get after it. They need to force Hoyer into mistakes. They need to make sure they don't let Josh Jacobs started, and they need to be physical. Like, this is a perfect game because in my mind, Frown, this is a trap game. I don't think the Raiders have much. I know they're going to try and hype up the guy who hopefully sends Storm Norton Christmas cards every year, but I don't think they have much, honestly. I don't think really on paper they shouldn't even be that close with the Chargers. Obviously, the Raiders have a say in the game also, so depending on who shows up to the game, it depends on how it rolls out. But this is the perfect game to freaking Khalil Mack get some sacks. He's playing his former team. That has to get him hyped. Get freaking Joey Bosa some sacks.
Should they give
some turnovers too?
Should they give Jimmy G the number 4?
Oh my God! Bring back Derek Carr. Derek Carr,
so that he thinks it is Derek Carr.
Yeah. The way he's been playing, dude. But that's why I'm saying, like, they need, especially if it's Hoyer, hell, even if it's Jimmy G, they need to get after it. I think sometimes, or at least right now, this defense isn't playing with a lot of confidence. I don't think. Like, I think there's really, like, a lot of doubt. And this is me guessing because I'm not in the building. But you see it on the field. Like, they just get mollywopped in some of these one-on-one battles. And it's just unbelievable to see sometimes because they're a lot better than what they've been playing. Like, giving up, almost probably, what would you say, like 1,000 yards? No, like 500 yards to 2 receivers in 2 games, dude. Like Tyreek, Jefferson. Did anyone go off in the
Traylon Burks had that 70-yard touchdown catch?
Yeah, but I think that was it, right?
Not touchdown. He got to like the 5 or 10.
Yeah, but that was it, right? I don't think they had anyone really go off. But that's the problem also, the explosive plays. They've had explosive plays on them, and they need to limit those. They need to get some swagger, some freaking confidence back. So this is the perfect game to freaking do it because, besides Davante, I can't really think of someone who's really that much of a threat besides Josh Jacobs.
Jacoby Myers hasn't
been playing well.
Jacoby Myers hasn't been bad for them, actually. He's actually put up some numbers the first.
Perfect. Let Jacoby Myers beat you. Let freaking Michael Mayer beat you. Don't let Davante or
Michael Mayer has 2 catches in 3 games.
Damn.
Yeah.
Don't let them beat you. Don't let Davante Adams or Josh Jacobs beat you. That should be the game plan. Get after it. Put 2 on Davante and send like 5 to 6 people at a time always and go man-to-man across the board, dude. Neither Hoyer nor really Jimmy G is going to scramble and get out of there. So that's kind of would be my game plan. I'm getting after it. I'm getting aggressive. I think that's what they really need to do. Force some turnovers, get these guys hyped, get these guys doing their little turnover photos and everything else.
So this was a Calvin Austin touchdown on Sunday. Watch this. It was on the Raiders Steelers game. He's down here. He's down here, over here. Watch him.
Oh,
he just blows right past Marcus Peters.
Right past him. And the safety's nowhere to be found. Yeah, I remember this one. I was surprised Kenny Pickett got that, honestly.
Yeah, I know.
The offense is going to do their thing. I think this is a perfect game also for them. Well, I think they already have swagger. I think they already know what they're doing. But this is a perfect game for them to just fine-tune and get everything right. Because especially without Mike, this is the perfect game to start experimenting.
Wow, look at the running back.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you, dude. Anybody who's some caliber or worth, he has a struggle, dude. That's why you remember it. Rashawn Slater's rookie year. I think this guy was already in the league for a year and he was killing it. He lined up against Rashawn Slater, I think, the first half of the game as a rookie, thinking, oh, he's a rookie. I'm going to be able to clown him. In the second half, wanted nothing to do with him, dude. Went over to Storm Norton, obviously, had his way. So he stayed on that side, which I get it tactically and everything else. But it's like, it's just, yeah, I'm not going to get into it. I'm not trying to get too much hate from Raider fans today, but that's it. That's the only thing I'll say about the defense. They need to get after it. They need to get they need to start feeling better about themselves, get some turnovers, get hyped, dude, get them fired up. That's what I think they need to do 100%. Because this is what I'm going to tell you right now. If they freaking keep them in the game. They don't put them away as soon as possible like they should. I would try and take their soul in the first half, quite frankly. I would want to go up into halftime, I'd say 10 at the minimum and, 21 at the maximum ahead. And I would try and take their soul in the first half because the more they let them stick around, that's where these Charger teams have always had trouble putting teams away. So the more they let them stick around, I think the more this Raider team's going to be dangerous.
Yeah, no, and you're right. If you let them hang around, they will take advantage. I mean, last time, a couple of years ago, I remember when they played the Chargers on Monday Night Football, Chargers got off to like a 24-0 lead or something, 21-0 lead, and the Raiders tried to climb back, and then the Chargers obviously put the game away. But you can't do that. You need to, if you can get a lead early, get it early, separate yourself. Don't let them come back in, and then try and get out of there with
no new injuries.
Exactly. Try and get out of there clean. And then obviously the bye week is next week. You can rest. You can have the week off and obviously get the body right. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, I don't know if Derwin's going to go. We didn't even see Derwin today.
I don't think so.
I don't know about
Derwin. A hamstring.
Yeah.
I think a hamstring for a DB. I'm no doctor, but I think that's pretty tough.
And that's going to be rough because Derwin, at times, he's at the end of games, he's the one that takes Davante.
Oh, and I'm telling you right now, if I was Josh McDaniels, I'd be putting Davante in that sector at all times, just throwing it up to him as many times as I can, seeing if something will stick or whatever. They're going to have to, like on the flip side now, Raiders offensively, they need to play a clean game and they just need to pick their spots, dude. They need to pick their spots. Try and move the ball, keep drives alive and everything. Keep the hands out of. Oh, my bad. We're already going. All right.
No. I was listening.
That's all I was gonna say. They need to pick their spots. They need to freaking pick their spots, be clean, and just understand the game plan and do the best they can. Because, do the best they can. Make it sound like a participation type thing. But that's the best thing they could do. No turnovers. Stick to the game plan. Pick their spots.
Give me a fantasy player to watch for.
Fantasy player to watch. I'm going to go with Josh Jacobs. I think they know they have not been that great in the run game, and I think they're going to try and get him going early, especially if Jimmy G's out. If Jimmy G's out, look for the Raiders to feed their workhorse pretty early.
I'm going to go Davante Adams. I don't know if anybody on this roster can cover him. I think
he's going to get him the ball.
I think if I'm the Chargers, I'd double team him the whole weekend or all Sunday and just take I'd rather Jacoby Myers beat me than
exactly
Davante Adams.
That's what it's all about, dude. That's what game plans are all about. If someone's going to beat us, it's not their strength, it's their weakness. That's what it's all about.
Exactly.
If the weakness beats you, it is what it is, dude.
I'm going to go Davante Adams. I don't even need to ask you this one. I know your X Factor's the Raiders defensive tackle.
No, he is not the X Factor. I would say the X Factor is going to be. All right. Are you gonna pick a Raider or a Charger?
I don't know yet. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying so we don't do the same. I think the X Factor is going to be the Raider offensive line. If you can keep Hoyer upright, if you can keep
Jimmy G.
Well, we don't know if he's going to play. He's in concussion protocol. We don't know.
Okay, but I mean,
whoever. Fine. The quarterback. If you can keep the quarterback upright, if you can open some small creases for Josh Jacobs to shoot through for 4 to 5 yards, you're going to be sitting pretty and you're going to be doing good. So I think right now that is going to be the X factor that's going to determine their game. Obviously, linemen determine it in every game, but I think even more so in this one because they don't know who the quarterback's going to be. So if they allow pressure hits, Hoyer might if it's a backup quarterback, they might crumble, make mistakes. So I'm going to go with the Raiders offensive line.
I'm going to go Quentin Johnston. I'll say Quentin Johnston is going to I think this game is going to be very important for him. I think he's going to show some stuff. We'll see what he shows, but I think it's going to be positive, and I think he'll put up some yards in this game. Dan, who you got?
I'm 0-3 in these picks, so that makes me a little nervous. But I don't see a way the Chargers lose, even though I'm sure everyone listening is going to be. They'll find a way. You don't have to tell me, guy or girl. I've been watching this team forever. So Give me the Chargers, dude. I don't think they're gonna lose. There's no way they lose.
Uh,
Are you gonna go upset? You're thinking it.
No, we suck again. Oh no.
You're going upset.
No.
Or you think trap?
No, I was just saying
Trap.
because I was waiting for that to go.
Trap.
No, I'm gonna go Chargers. There's like if you lose this game, then wow, there's no way that they should lose this game, even with some of these injuries, even with whatever excuse you want to throw out there. There's no way they should lose this game. They should go into the bye week 2-2 and get ready for a Cowboys team that right now is teetering.
Let me ask you real quick. I forgot to ask you about this. Do we know if J.C. Jackson is gonna play or no?
Brandon Staley said it's up in the air.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. I just want to give myself a pat on the back for now because I said on the podcast, I think post game, I said maybe J.C. Jackson didn't play because he violated a team policy. Having an arrest warrant violates.
No, that had nothing to do with it. It was scheme.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
They said it's for a speeding ticket. It's for a speeding ticket. The fact that they wasted it on that instead of trying to catch real criminals is criminal in and of itself. No, it was because of the scheme. I mean, because they felt like Michael Davis struggled. They felt like Michael Davis and Asante Samuel Jr. gave them the best chance to win. But
all right,
I know the draft is still a long ways away, but cornerback has to be at the
free
top
agent
of that
too.
list.
You never know. Oh well, I guess free agent. They'd be hesitant to try and get any other corner.
Well, yeah, but all right. Well, we appreciate you guys so much for checking out another episode of What's Up, Bolts. I'm Fernando Ramirez. We appreciate you. That is Dan and Daygo.
You
this Sunday. Do not forget Raiders at Chargers Sunday at 1 p.m. 1:05 p.m. We will have a post-game reaction, so make sure you guys are tuned in because Dan and I will give you whatever post-game reaction that we get. We'll have a reaction to the game. I'll be in the locker room. I'll let you guys know what I heard from the players. So, again, that's stuff that you can't get anywhere else. So make sure you guys are tuned in here because as soon as I get out of the locker room, first thing I do is come up. Dan and I record and we post it. So you guys will know exactly what's going on in the locker room before anybody else. So
you'll tell us the mood, Frown.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. But obviously, we appreciate you guys so much. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let other Charger fans know, hey, you know what? The Ramirez guys, they ain't doing too bad. Make sure you guys go listen to them. But again, we appreciate you guys so much. Have a good one. Don't forget to check out everything else on Compas on the Beat Network. Again, thank you guys so much. Have a good one and have a great weekend.